The Muse Academy by Heidi Hansen. Act 1. I am the cat, and this is what happened. The attic keeper and I were holed up in the attic loft, trying to block out the crashing and banging and whooshing sounds of the Vacus storm raging outside. The sun window almost blew in. I was in repose, however, perfection perched and preened, and in a state of deep meditation. Attic keeper was locked in a writer's block and was engrossed in staring at the blank pages of her sketchbook with her cheeks held up with both hands, elbows on the table. The shrieking of the Vacus outside the attic window sounded cold, ice-cold, shrill shards of ice that could cut through a person, and that's what the Vacus do. They get inside you and vacuum out all of your imagination, ideas, creative beauty, because they have none of their own. But attic keeper and I were used to these tantrums from the vile, black, insidious floating forms. Inside our attic abode, it was toasty warm, with a potbelly stove, piles of blankets, and cushy pillows, loads of books and art supplies, sausages, olives, crackers, cheeses, and other delicacies, and high stacks of cans of tuna for me. Like I said, perfection in comfort and repose. Until I saw them, peeking out of the baseboard heater vent, which hasn't worked in years. There were 5 trembly little tiny fuzzy colorful muses, shaking with wide, big eyes. They were colorful and cute, lavender, periwinkle blue, banana yellow, lime green. Their names? Bookie, Artie, Musica, Ponderous, and Dance. Have you ever wondered what a muse is? A muse is the one who helps an artist. Painters, writers, musicians, dancers, chefs, inventors, all kinds of artists get their ideas from muses. Muses inspire artists to create wonderful, new, innovative things. Muses are the minions of one's mind, and they go to school at the Muse Academy right here to learn how to be a muse. They take classes in all art forms for a good long time, and then, on graduation day, they are adopted by artists who come from all over the world to the Muse Academy and take them home to their artists' studios. Somewhere in the night time, an artist waits for me. Somehow on her paintbrush, others will see me. I'll be there on the face of her canvas, waiting patiently. Somewhere on a blank page, a story must get wrote, and a trumpet's mouthpiece will let a new song float. My love is on the face of her canvas, waiting patiently. Somehow through these night hours, I'll have visibility. Act 2. What the attic keeper did. The muses were not supposed to be here, and the attic keeper scolded them on that point. The academy had been closed due to a bank foreclosure. All the students and staff had been sent home, and the building was empty and the doors boarded shut. A lonely, empty place, with the Vacus trying to get in and now inhabit the building for their own purposes. This was no place for a muse, and the attic keeper told them so. She was a recluse and had lived in secret up in the attic for a good long time, and she loved it that way. She rescued me years back from a drenching rain and windstorm outdoors on the campus grounds, and we've been together up in the attic ever since. She spends her days painting, writing, cooking delicious, items from around the world with her own new and innovative recipes. And I still don't know exactly how these rare tidbits of exotic ingredients continue to arrive in the attic, or the fresh, colorful fruits from all around the world, but they do, as do my stacks and stacks of personal tuna fish cans. So when the attic keeper realized that these muses had known about her living up in the attic all along, she was quite irritated, and she told them to go home right away. The muses said no. They had stayed behind to save their school, reopen it, and get all the muses back, and they needed her help. The attic keeper told them that the Vacus might even succeed in breaking in and taking over in due time, as the building had been abandoned. The muses exclaimed, "That's all the more reason to stay back and save their school." The attic keeper knew that it took a lot of courage to be an artist, and now she softened a bit when she saw the courage of these 5 tiny muses and their love of their school. "Hello there, it's you again, beating on my window pane, challenging my attic doors, your thieving powers feign. I'm on to you now, what I have you cannot do. You can't take what I won't give, without my fear you cannot live. Courage comes in many colors, a place of peace takes many forms. Somewhere between risk and destiny, that's where courage comes. For those who live on a blank page, actors facing a brand new stage, for the notes in search of a bigger score, and the dance that wants just one more. Every brushstroke says your name, every sculpture reforms old shame, the tender words that fill your poems, that's where courage comes. Finding tools right around you, joy can be harder than misery. Supplies can surprise, old ideas can be resized when courage comes. Courage comes in many colors, a place of peace has many forms. Thieves and fears can't have your voice when courage comes. Act 3. What the Muses Found. The Vacus must have sensed something good was happening inside the attic, because they really whipped up their forces, and the whole attic not only shook from their whipping and beating against the windows and walls, but the building of the academy itself swayed from side to side. Bookie Muse asked what the Vacus were trying to get. What did they want? An attic keeper explained that it was the void of any kind of true imagination or sense of self or creative personality that the Vacus were missing, and it enraged them. They wanted what the Muses have at the academy, what they couldn't get for themselves. Artie asked, well, why don't they just get some education and skill of their own? And the answer was that they were lazy, selfish, and mean, vile, vicious Vacus, and were content to steal other people's imaginations or destroy their places of comfort and joy. The joy of having a good idea. They would never know that. And that was so tragic, but also so true, and that was what enraged the Vacus. And even if they succeeded in taking over the school and all of the ideas that flowed from it, they wouldn't know what to do with the ideas or care to even try. They just wanted to destroy it for destruction's own sake. Dance shivered. Creeps, he said. I can feel their coldness. It's a weird, pinching, stale, empty kind of cold. Eugh. Attic keeper changed the subject. The joy of a good idea, she proclaimed as she took sizzling basil and blueberry sausages that came from Thailand out of a skillet and passed heaping plates of them around to the Muses. The Muses gobbled up the nice, savory delicacies and burned their tongues in haste. But they didn't mind. They washed it all down with cold, freshly squeezed kiwi and starfruit juice that came from Australia in thick wedges of crispy and flaky, fresh, buttery toast made from wheat and goats on the Mongolian steppes. As they cuddled down on the piles of Scottish wool blankets and buttery soft cushions that came from Finland, the attic keeper walked over to them, walked over to a big, hanging down 13th century gold-threaded woven tapestry curtain that came from Japan, and lifted it to show a gigantic, sprawling set of cupboards and shelves stuffed to overflowing with art supplies, music supplies, dance supplies, tools, papers, paints, exotic cooking ingredients, and odd chef utensils. She opened one cupboard door, and there was a stack of sketchbooks, brand new sketchbooks, and special pens called Imagi stylus pens. She gave a sketchbook and stylus pen to each Muse, and took one over to her own work table and opened it, and then applied the Imagi stylus pen to the paper. A thick plume of colorful fog of swirling purples and sparkling yellows, dancing greens and spinning blues poured out of her sketchbook in a thick, bright, happy fog. "This," she said, "is what the Vacas want. The joyous fog of creativity." "I see the lines upon your face. Each has been hard won. But you're beautiful when you talk with your art. So, hun, let the joyous fog go free. Let the joyous fog go free. Send it out for all to see. All the colors for you and me. Open up your sketchbook and see the bigger picture. Watch what happens when you put it on the page. Let the joyous fog go free. Let the joyous fog go free. Imagination for all to see, changing the world for you and me. Let the joyous fog go free. Yes, let the joyous fog fly free." Act 4. What the Vacas Did. Well, the Muses had fallen into a deep and perfectly sweet slumber filled with delicious delicacies and filled also with the joyous fog that they suddenly had a brand new faith in, that somehow that joyous fog would help them save their school. But then, suddenly, a loud and jarring, jagged boom shocked everyone awake. Upright, an attic keeper looked at me. I could feel the whiskers against my cheek zinging with what terrible thing had just happened, and I nodded my head at her. "What's going on?" asked Musica, shivering up and down. "The Vacas have broken in down in the basement." "The basement?" asked Ponderous. "I thought they wanted to break in up here in the attic." Another heavy thud of boom. "They want the ideas down there, the new ideas and the old ideas. Down in the basement is where the old archived ideas are stored. I haven't been down there in years. Nobody has. Nobody wants to," said the attic keeper. "Down in the basement is where the ideas are that they want to start with. Down in the basement." Down to the basement, here we go. What we'll find we do not know. Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Is it treasure or is it foe? Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Down to the basement, here we go. Ooh. 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 Act 5. What the new Muse did. The vile, vicious Vacus were there in the basement waiting for me and the valiant Muses going to battle. What's our battle plan? Bookie whispered to Dance. The group of 5 colorful minions of the mind stared at each other with large, round, wondering, but somehow courageously curious eyes. Do we need a battle plan? Asked Dance. We're creators, not fighters, said Ponderous. The Vacus cackled at them in mockery. One Vacus, a thin, tight wisp that resembled an eel of prey, sneered. Creators? You created yourself right into trouble. You created yourself right out of a school. Another Vacus, who lived under a rock, which he carried with him, snivelled a forced grin, and a tick of hatred twitched on one lip. We're your creators now, he said. A blobby, loosely swaying chunk of globulous Vacus shook her head in mock sorrow. And they used to be such nice Muses, too. The 4th Vacus, a brick-like chunk, snorted without moving his lips at all. They'll do it our way from now on. They have no choice. All the dark forms closed in around the trembling Muses. You'll give us what you have. Now. Just then, a pulsating glow of green light flooded the room, and in a blink, the Vacus were gone. Whoosh! Just disappeared, like a movie being clicked off, or a light switch being clicked off. They were absent, vacant. Only green light was left in the room, and it illuminated the old ideas archived in scrolls and in baskets, in the new little freshly built garden of tender baby ideas sprouting up. What just happened? Shouted Bookie, and then a new and unfamiliar little Muse voice piped up out of a corner. Wowza! She exclaimed. It works! It really works! Cool, cool, cool! As the green glow faded back, there was Techie Muse, standing behind a garden of fresh new sprigs of growing idea scrolls, and surrounded by baskets of older archived idea scrolls stacked up against each other. What worked? Shouted Ponderous. What just happened? Are they really gone? Asked a shaky Artie, looking from side to side of the illuminated basement room. A new Muse spoke up and showed her face by sliding off a green eye goggle set from her face, tethered to a large smartphone she was holding in both hands, and now she put them aside and showed them. This, she exclaimed in glee, and pranced around in a happy dance. My invention, my VBR. This is my VBR, and it works, it's so cool that it works. The test run, the beta test is done, the beta test was a success. She danced up and down. A VBR? Asked Bookie. What's that? I made it myself. Never beta tested it before until just now, and I am proud as can be. Got rid of the Vacus, or rather, just portaled them to a new reality. It's my virtual blurred reality machine. It blurs reality. It blurs the lines of reality. The Vacus aren't really gone. It just transported them from one reality to another, although I really don't know where, but they're probably sliding in between realities right now. It's okay. We'll fix it. I'll fix the bugs if there are any, but you know, it worked good enough. I gotta write the realities, you know, code new realities, and haven't done that quite yet. She laughed in glee and gazed at her machine in a state of true love. Walking along a little idea today, taking it home and letting it play, showing respect for all that we do and say. That's how our ideas can save the day. Because we can, yes we can be little and true. We can save the day for me and you. Walking along our little ideas today, doing big things and paving the way, finding the place where we're in the know, so the minions of your mind can grow. Once upon a little time, long ago, when you were mine, all's I had to do was play along with you. But here we are again, my friend, with perils that might never end. So just let me say one more time today, don't let anyone, don't let anyone, don't let anyone take yourself away. Act 6. What a good talent show can do. Oh, it was a fine, crisp, flowery spring morning that the Muses, with the help of the attic keeper and my own talent of keeping crisis out of the attic, put on a talent festival in the grand hall. Everyone, all of the Muse alumni and displaced students, faculty and community were there, and most importantly, the board of directors from the bank had all come, showing up with their VIP seating passes and giving them to Dance, who, dressed in formal theater attire, was taking tickets and showing guests where to sit. No one seemed to notice that one of the board of directors, the executive loan officer, carried a large bag that had a rock inside of it. Another, too, under much too much makeup, remarked, "Oh, this is just embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them, really." A globulous risk assessment loan officer agreed. There used to be such nice Muses, too, and this used to be such a nice academy. The other bulldog board of directors from legal said, "Well, whatever they do here, we own it. We own it all. It's ours in perpetuity." The other vice president just remarked, "We'll get them. We'll get them soon. Very soon." Everyone was there, and the balloons and the fancy dress just hid what those bank directors were really whispering about. A great hum of excitement and anticipation filled up the great hall, bursting with pride, and the Muses delivered. They all put on a terrific, fantastic talent show that was more of a feast of creativity than an entertainment form. It was put on to raise money, to reopen their school, and also to show the bank board of directors how special the Muse Academy really is, and convince them to keep funding it. And it worked. The next week, a bright new banner was hung over the academy door. Welcome back, students. Grand reopening of the Muse Academy. Have a great new semester. Muses flowed in with their suitcases and backpacks and stacks of books, musical equipment, dance equipment in tow. The dorm rooms were filled with happy muses making new friends with each other. Some muses were practicing dance routines in the grand hall stage, and some were checking out the new library. Some were cooking savories in the hallway on hot plates, and some were cross-pollinating new plants in the steamy bathrooms. Some were sketching it all for a documentary. Muses came from all over the world to attend, and Teki was running around introducing everyone to her cousin that came from Hawaii, Keolakai, who was asking where he could store his surfboard. "Did you bring Keolakai over from the islands using your VBR?" Dance asked her, a little in between them. They had formed a small crush, I would say. "Oh no," Keolakai surfed his way over the Pacific Ocean. She smiled and passed out copies of her patent approval of her VBR. Looking out on these bright blue waters, not knowing just what's in front of me, taking a leap of faith to see the bigger picture. That's what little things can do. Believe in little things, they're always around. When the waves turn you upside down, sirens call from a distant shore, beguiling me to search for more across the sea of imagination towards a curious destination. And that's how little things grow. Believe in little things, they're always around. When the world turns you upside down, tiny drops make up greater oceans. A fine thin line holds the horizon still. It's not how far you go, it's just that you say hello to what those little things can do. Act 7. What's an ending when you can have a new beginning? Upstairs in the attic keeper was busy in her sketchbook and at her easel. Loads of new art supplies were stacked all around the attic, promising a semester of high artistic productivity. She scolded the band of now 6 muses who assembled in, dizzy with happiness. "What are you doing here? This is the first day of classes. Classes start in 5 minutes, she said. You'll be late, and I do not sign excuse notes. Ever. Off with you now." The 6 muses looked at attic keeper and did not budge. Rather, they sat themselves down on plump cushions and folded quilts. "So what's our first lesson?" they asked as they sipped the icy cold tropical smoothies attic keeper had made them from the rain forest. "We are in class. This is our classroom. We want you to be our teacher," Ponderous declared for the group. They all opened up their sketchbooks and got out their Imagi styluses and poised them ready in hand. "So, again, what's our first lesson?" Attic keeper put her head down on her work table and moaned, "No, no, no. I'm not a teacher, and this isn't a classroom. I should never have been found. My life would still be so easy if I've never been found out. No, I can't be your teacher. I'm much too busy growing the gardens of new ideas in the new basement greenhouse." And then I, in my most gracious of sauntering ways, sauntered over and purred in Attic Keeper's ear and waved my tail across her face. I gave her a double green-eyed wink. And then Attic Keeper sighed and got up and poured them all a new round of icy cold smoothies. This one was whipped up from Oregon blackberries and bananas that came from the Philippines, sidelined with lemon gelato from Rome. Okay, Muses, welcome to class. Put your stylus to paper. The first thing about being a muse is to get your artist to observe. And the second thing is to help your artist always be themselves, love who they are, and protect that beautiful artistry of being a person. Once upon a little time, long ago, when you were mine, alls I had to do was play along with you. But here we are together now, and I just don't know how much farther I can go. The night is hanging low, but there is a spark, a shining star, upon this road that never ends, and here we are, long lost friends, and so just let me say one more time today, don't let anyone take yourself away. P.S. And so the classes of the new grand reopened semester of the Muse Academy began. But what about those bank board of directors, the ones who sat in the VIP seats? Nobody seemed to notice, but I did, and my whiskers twitched and burned with what I realized how odd they were in their mannerisms while they dressed so professionally. Now that's something I'll have to keep my green eyes on and get back to you on. Perhaps there will be another battle another day. For now I give you all a double wink. A double green-eyed wink. You know, you can get through anything as long as you have a good idea and as long as you can tell a good story about it. For now, I'm going back to my perfectly pristine perch.